Hi, I'm Kaki King, and a lot of people can come to me and say, I feel like I'm in a rut as far as my guitar playing goes, or I feel like I'm in a rut as far as songwriting. I don't know where to go next. I don't know what to do. And this can be really mentally tricky. I sometimes think of it as the same time as an athlete might kind of plateau, like they can train so hard and they can only get to a certain speed or lift a certain amount of weight, and it can be very tricky to get yourself out of that, because a lot of it's really just mental, and with music it's all mental. So I think that if you're experiencing something where there's exercises that you're trying to do but you just can't get through, or there's songs that you're trying to play and it's just not working, or there's things you're trying to write and you just don't seem to be able to get anything creative out of what you're doing. I think there's many different ways out of that. I think one of them is to completely stop what you're doing and do something completely different. And I think creatively this could be not even playing music. It could be just writing in a journal for half an hour every day and just seeing what comes out, and putting away the guitar until you miss it enough that you kind of want to go back to it. Because a lot of people get so frustrated with what they're doing, they put their guitar away. But the key is to not put it away and then never come back. The key is to kind of just go, okay, I'm just going to leave this for a minute, maybe do something else creative for a day, and then come back to what I was doing before. I think also, let's say you're writing a song and you've got the best 2 verses ever. You can't come up with a chorus. Maybe change the tuning. Maybe put a capo on the guitar and just see what happens when you start to sing it or play it in a different key. That can often change. That can be a world of change as far as songwriting goes or playing goes. Also, if you are encountering trouble learning a lesson on this site or wherever, often doing something where if you detune your guitar, so your guitar is easier to play, or if you detune your guitar and then put a capo on so you're in the same tuning as the lesson, you might find that all of a sudden you're just able to get through something that was before very difficult. This is a very interesting and simple thing to do, but you can stretch your fingers out. And I'm not sure if this is a perfect way to kind of loosen up your hands and give your hands more dexterity. But oftentimes, to stretch my hands out, I find I'll just put my hand inside of my 2 fingers and I'll just widen my hand like that. And that just seems to provide like a very satisfying stretch. And it's probably also stretching these muscles in between your fingers that might not allow you to be getting certain stretches or reaching certain strings. The other thing is slow down. People are so eager to learn something at the speed at which it's played that they never think about, okay, if I just slow down and practice this, it's almost like swimming or running or tennis or anything. If you slow down and work on your technique and work on your form and all of those things, then when you speed things back up, you'll find they're actually moving a lot faster. So slowing down anything always helps. And let's see, any other tips for getting out of a plateau? I think that maybe if you're playing too much and not listening enough, that can also be an irritating thing. You're like, why is the creativity not just pouring out of me? Well, maybe you're not, getting enough creative juice from where you're supposed to be getting it from, or where, you have to kind of find that happy spot wherever it is. If it's listening to other music, if it's reading something, if it's writing, drawing, if it's going for a walk, if it's anything, going to see a film. Often getting your inspiration from places that are not necessarily musical places can be very helpful, or not necessarily music that you're trying to create, but something very different. Like if you're trying to write a rock song, go listen to some Mozart. I just think there's something in the brain that can kind of get turned on. I think that sometimes in the past, I felt like I had to have a reason to write a song. I had to have a bad day or a heartbreak or a late night or, you know, a story or something, that there had to be this inspiration. And so while I do think that this is true of most people that are involved in any type of creative process, I think that doing things on a regular basis, just like practicing any kind of sport, just like writing, just like, you know, working your brain muscles, I think that, you know, don't get too frustrated. Just practice every day. Even if you want to throw the guitar against the wall and say, I suck, I'm giving up, don't do that. Just say, I'm going to keep doing this until I get better. And this might take a long time. It might take a little bit less concentration and a little bit more kind of muscle memory, a little less, you know, kind of going through it mentally, and a little more just feeling it, feeling your hands do it. If you're trying to memorize a phrase, I remember, for instance, a friend of mine, she was trying to, you know, kind of memorize this basic phrase on guitar. She was a very early guitar player. So she was walking around her house with her guitar on her all the time, and she would just be doing things, and then she would play what she was trying to learn. And then she'd sit at the couch, turn the TV on, put it on mute, and stare at it, and then just, you know, keep trying to play this thing. So she'd kind of left a little bit of her rational brain behind, and she was using a little bit more of her irrational kind of mental sort of right brain and muscle memory brain to just sort of work through what she was doing. And it worked for her, and finally she was, you know, became actually a very good guitar player. I think that that can be one thing that's very, very helpful. It's just repetition and repetition, and the ability to not get frustrated and not to feel that you're never going to get out of this rut that you're in, or that you're never going to get any better. Because that'll definitely happen. It'll definitely happen. Even to the best people, it's like, oh, well, you know, what else can I do? How can I get better? And you will. And it's just a matter of patience and concentration, but also, you know, dedication. You have to just do it. You have to do it every day, every other day when you can. And don't do it with too much distraction, you know? So those are sort of my tips on trying to get out of a musical rut or plateau, or whatever you want to call it.